Imagine a desert that fills with crystal blue lagoons. That's Lençois Maranhenses, and it doesn't look real. I came back from a trip there in January 2026 and it was amazing, but not that much. Why? Because the lagoons, those famous lagoons, weren't there at all. It was just a desert, a natural one, a classic one. So I'm making this video so you won't make the same mistake. Because actually when you go there, which month, it's the most important thing from that trip. Because otherwise you may gonna have the most beautiful landscape, the desert with those dunes and those lagoons all around those dunes, or you're just not gonna have lagoons at all, or just a little bit muddy, not the blue things that you've seen on the photos and the videos, and you're gonna be quite disappointed. So in this video I'm gonna tell you everything about where to go, when to go, the tours that you can do there, and yeah, let's go. But first, what is even this place? Because that's really unique in this world. Well, this is a national park that is in Brazil, located in the Nordeste, so in the northeastern side of Brazil, on the Atlantic coast. So it's a national park, and since 2 years ago, 2024, it's now in the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So it's quite gaining to traction for tourism. And this whole national park has a big part as a vegetation, and the other part, the most famous one, it's the desert with the lagoons. And so why is it that famous? Well, I just told you, I think you've already seen it. It's this mix of deserts like dunes, but on the bottom part of the desert you have lagoons. You have the water that stays up there because of those works that are below the sands. You don't see them, but thanks to that, the water is staying there. So this national park looks like a desert, but actually it's not really a desert because it rains quite a lot. Not always, but for a few months it rains around 1,200 millimeters of water. That's quite a lot. That's a meter and 20 centimeters of water that will just go there. That's impressive. That's how those lagoons are made. So another real question, how to get to Lençois Maranhenses? Because it's a little bit in the middle of nowhere in this northeastern part of Brazil. Well, to go there, the nearest international or big airport will be São Luís. It's the capital of this region, which is the Maranhão. And you have a lot of planes that arrive there actually. From Rio, from São Paulo, Brasilia, or other big cities from Brazil. You will have flights that go there daily, I think. If you want to come directly from an international airport from another country, that may be a little bit more tricky. You'll have to pass through another city first in Brazil. But so that's the best option, is to arrive in São Luís, and from there you will take a bus or a private transfer or a shared one from one of the cities that are next to Lençóis. So actually there's 3 different cities that you can go to. It's either Barreirinhas, the most famous one, Santo Amaro, a less famous one, and Atins, famous but very difficult to reach. So which one you should go to? It depends about what you want to see, how you want to experience this whole park. And so here's the breakdown of each city. So Barreirinhas is the main hub, it's the main city. When you think about Lençóis Maranhenses and touristic tours, you think about Barreirinhas, because that's the most developed one, where you will have most of the agencies there, where you will have beautiful hotels, restaurants as well. The nightlife also is kind of cool on the every evening, or if not the weekends, on the riverfront, because Barreirinhas is next to the Preguiças river, so you have a nice view when you're walking up that riverfront. And at night you have restaurants all there with some music in the streets. It's really nice, it's really cool. So Barreirinhas, that's the main city where you have most options for the tours. That's where I went this time and also 10 years ago. I think that's the most safe options, but the counterpart, the trade-off is that during the peak season you will have a lot of people. You'll have a lot of tours, you will have a lot of trucks, 4x4 pickups that will go to Lençóis, so it may feel very crowded. That's the most easiest place to go to, because from São Luís you have a very big road that go to Barreirinhas, which is not the case to Santo Amaro, and it's not even a road to Atins. So it's the safest options. If you want something a little bit outside the crowd, but still reachable, it will be Santo Amaro. Santo Amaro, it's even closer to the park, but it's on the other side. But to go there, it's a little bit more complex. You will have to see from São Luís if there is some private transfer or some bus from the Rodoviária, which is the name for the terminal bus in Portuguese. But basically here the city is much smaller, so if you go there you have to book in advance your hotel, but you will also have a lot of agencies there that will propose you tours, even ATV tour, which is kind of cool. And there you will have less crowds, but you will have the same experience as Barreirinhas, let's say. Even though apparently, tell me if you've already been there in Santo Amaro, but there the lagoons looks more beautiful. So about that I don't know. I haven't seen any lagoons when I went there in January, so I can't say. And the third option is Atins. Atins, it's more like a fishing village on the coast directly, while Barreirinhas and Santo Amaro are more like inland. It's on the coast, and to go there you have to pass by Barreirinhas, so it's a bus or van transfer to Barreirinhas, and after you have to take a boat on this Rio Preguiças up to the end of it, where the river ends into the sea, and there you have this village, Atins. So it's very, very small. You don't have a lot of things to do, but you have mostly kitesurf because it's on the coast and you have a lot of winds there. And there you can also do some tours to the park, to Lençois Maranhenses. But it's even more difficult to reach that place. So in sum up, Barreirinhas, it's the easiest place to reach, where you have a lot of options, but you may have a lot of tourism there. Santo Amaro will be the second options if you really prioritize the less people around you, less tourism. And if you really want something like in the nature, that would be Atins. So you have two options. Now it's up to you to decide. Another thing you have to decide is which tours you want to do, because actually you have a lot of options that you can do. But before going to the tours, let's talk about something very important, the weather. The weather is the most important thing when you want to book and organize a trip to Lençóis Maranhenses. If you do not look at that, you're gonna end up just like me, going in January and not seeing any lagoons. Or I've seen some, but that was really horrible. I went there 10 years ago, and I think that was in June, something like that, and that was very beautiful. I've seen those lagoons at that time, and that was amazing. And I wanted to have the same experience right now, but I went in January. That wasn't a good month. So which months are good, which aren't? So those lagoons are drying up all around the year, because that's how nature is made of. So basically, you have the rainy season from January to April, May. So from that time you will have a lot of rains, and that's when the lagoons are filling up from the rains. So those months it's better to not to travel to, because you're gonna catch a lot of rains, and if it's at the beginning, just like I've done. I didn't have rain, but the lagoons were empty, so there was just dry sand all over the places. So that wasn't that cool. The best it's May, end of May, June. At that time you still don't have that many tourists. The rainy season has just ended, and so the lagoons are totally full. And that's where you'll have normally the best moments, because you can enjoy the park for yourself and other tourists. There is always a lot of tourists, but that's not still the peak season. The peak season will be from July to August, September, something like that. I would say mid-June to mid-September. From that time you have a lot of people going there. Brazilian, non-Brazilian, this is the big holidays for the North Hemisphere. So because this park is more and more famous, you'll have more and more foreigners that will go to that place and visit it, and so that will be between mid-June to mid-September basically. After that, from September to December, even January, that's when the lagoons start to dry up. From September, October, November, it's drying up more and more, up to the point that in December, January, you don't have anything left. on those bottom of the dunes. So that's really a shame when you don't know it. My bad, that's my responsibility. I should have checked that before. So don't do the same mistakes. I would say go in May, June. If you can't go there, don't try to go. It's really up to September, but after that you may gonna be disappointed. So it's better to organize your trip to go to see some other places in Brazil rather than trying to absolutely fit the Lençóis Maranhenses if it's not during that period of time, from May to September. Alright, so now let's talk about the tours. You have various types of tours that you can do, and the most famous one is to jump on a pickup from Barreirinhas. You can also do that on Santo Amaro, where you have a big pickup with a lot of bench on the back of the pickup, and basically you will be, I don't know, 10-20 on that pickup, and you will go to the park. You have an hour, 2 hours of ride to go there, because Barreirinhas it's a little bit far from there, so you have to drive through that park up to the beginning of the dunes, and there you will have maybe 3, 4, 5 hours of walking there, of chilling into the park. You will walk from one lagoon to the other. We've done the same even though it was January, so we went to one lagoon. I think that was the Lago Azul, so the blue lagoon, and you still had a little bit of water, but that wasn't that beautiful. Honestly, I didn't want to swim in that, even though many people did, but plus with the wind, etc. So even though that was beautiful, I've made really beautiful footage. I'm happy to have done it, but yeah. And so with that tour you also end up to one of the big dunes where you see the sunset there, which is really nice, and just after the sunset you already go and you go back to Barreirinhas. So that's a nice tour. That's the most classic tour that you can do to enjoy Lençóis. But I would say there is some other options that are a bit more longer. But first, you also have this option of the ATV. I've seen these options more in Santo Amaro rather than in Barreirinhas, because you already have 2 hours to reach the dunes from Barreirinhas, so I think not so many agencies are proposing them. You can try to look at, but I think it's mostly in Santo Amaro, because in Santo Amaro to reach the park it's only a few minutes, so I think at the ATV it's mostly there. But actually, from the videos I've seen, it's quite cool. You can do an ATV in the dunes for a few hours, and that's kind of a nice way to also enjoy the park. Another tour that I've seen, it's a stargazing tour. So actually you start the tour at 5 p.m, while normally the quad tour and also the normal pickup tour, it starts at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m, something like that, and it's during the whole day. While the stargazing tour, it's at night, to see the stars, to see the Milky Way. So you start at 5 p.m. and you end at 9 or 10 p.m, something like that. You go to Lençóis, you go to the park to see the sunset, and after that you stay there and you see the whole stars there. I think that's a super nice opportunity because there's very few light pollution there. Barreirinhas, one of the biggest city nearby, it's already at 2 hours from the entrance of the park, let's say, of the dunes. So if you're a photographer and you really like to take night pictures, stars pictures, that can be a really nice place to go to. Another tour that may seem a little bit expensive, but I think really worth it, it's a plane tour. So in Barreirinhas, it's only on that city that you can do it because it has an airstrip, while Santo Amaro doesn't have it, and Atins not at all. And from there you have small planes like Cessna ones with few places, few seats where you can take off and do a 20-30 minutes fly over Lençóis Maranhenses. And I think this view from this altitude must be really amazing, because you really see, just like my drone did. So I was kind of cool with those videos and I didn't need to do it. Actually, not worth at all because the lagoons weren't there. But you have the third dimension of altitude where you can really see all the lagoons and all the curves from the dunes and the lagoons. That looks really amazing. I can see that with my drones, and you can see it right now. And I think seeing it directly with your own eyes when those lagoons are there must be really incredible. If you plan to do it, just tell me in the comments. I'm really curious what it looks like for you. the last options to discover the Lençóis Maranhenses park is actually the one I wanted to do at the beginning. It's a 3-day trek through the park, actually from Barreirinhas to Santo Amaro, or the other way around. But basically you start from one of the city to go to the other one. And you take 3 days to do this trek. So it's something like 10 kilometers per day that you walk. And the landscape is apparently amazing. But you have to do it at the right season to see the lagoons and the dunes. But you, for 3 days, walk through the dunes. When the group is a little bit tired or resting, you just go take a swim, and that just looks amazing. And those 2 nights you sleep at some really local small village where you sleep on hammocks. It's a homemade meal that are made. Well, the whole experience looks really amazing. I wanted to do that, and I was talking with one of the guys doing it, and it was really nice. He was telling me that in January it doesn't really worth to do this trek. And when I went for this 1-day pickup 4x4 tour, I realized that indeed it wasn't worth it at all, because the lagoons weren't there. But I think if you go there in May, June, that must be really, really worth it. So that's all the options to discover the Lençóis Maranhenses National Park, but this is not the only tours that you can do. Actually, from Barreirinhas, I've done another tour, which is the tour on the river Preguiças that I was talking a little bit earlier. From Barreirinhas, you have a river passing by, and you can do a boat tour there to go up to Atins. You won't visit Atins, at least not on this tour, but you will visit few places that are kind of cool. The first one is the village of Vassouras, where you stop there, where you have dunes, river and jungle. Like the whole landscape is quite beautiful. And there you also have a small restaurant where you have a lot of wild monkeys just standing here and waiting for some food for some people. So actually you can give them a little bit of bananas or also nuts. And that's kind of cool. That's the first stop you do. And after you continue your whole path on the boat, you see a lot of mangrove, a lot of jungle. That's really beautiful. You stop on an island. The island is called Mandakaru, where it has a big lighthouse. Actually, it's famous there, and you can climb up there. I did as well. That's kind of cool. On this island, you can buy some souvenirs. You can also chill and drink a beer or a caipirinha. And at the end, the next stop and the last one, it's at the Cabure beach, and this is the very end narrow beach where you have the river on one side and the ocean on the other side, and this is actually kind of cool. So you eat there, you have very beautiful view, but I must say the lunch was a little bit expensive. All the prices were for 2 people. I was alone, and they do price for 1 person, but that's like 60 or 70% of the 2-person price. So that was still a little bit expensive. But apart from that, this tour was kind of cool. So if you go there, I would say stay 4 or 5 days to really enjoy the place. If it's Barreirinhas or Atins or Santo Amaro, I think each city has its vibe. But even more in Barreirinhas, because you have the Lençóis Maranhenses park that you can visit, but also this tour, the Rio Preguiças tour, the river Preguiças, where you see a lot of nature as well, the jungle with the dunes and the river. It's really, really nice. I must to say it again to you, if you go visit there, go from May to September. Don't try to go before that or after that. That won't be worth it, really. Just go during this period, May to September, few days, and yeah, that way you will really enjoy it. And if you in this region, you can also continue your trip to visit some other places. Right now I'm thinking about Jericoacoara. I went there just after. That wasn't very easy to go from Barreirinhas to Jericoacoara. I had to stop in some places because I didn't catch the right bus, so check that out as well. But check out also this video I've made from Jericoacoara to explain to you a little bit this vibe, which is quite unique. This village is made of sand, basically, and you have a lot of kite surf there, with some ATV tour as well too. So check that out. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If so, a small button. If you want to see more videos about Brazil or the whole Latin America, hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to continue to make a lot of videos for you guys. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can type it right now, and you can also reach me on Instagram, DM me, and I will answer you. Alright guys, see you, ciao.